Billionaires have two bank accounts. One is for getting richer. The other is for having fun losing money. And this simple system is exactly why they sleep better at night while taking bigger risks than you ever will. Hey, welcome back to lIHITRO Bank. My name is Adam. Let me show you the two-bucket strategy that's keeping the ultra-wealthy rich while giving them permission to make wild bets. Here's what nobody tells you about how rich people actually manage money. They split everything into two completely separate buckets: risk capital and long-term capital. These aren't just mental categories. They're literally different accounts with different purposes and different rules. And understanding this changes everything about how you should invest. Risk capital is your play money. This is the bucket where you can afford to lose everything without it touching your lifestyle or retirement. Startups, crypto, speculative stocks, angel investments, early-stage companies, high-risk, high-reward plays. The rule? If this entire bucket went to zero tomorrow, you'd be fine. Annoyed, maybe, but fine. Your bills still get paid. Your retirement is still secure. Your kid's college fund is untouched. Long-term capital is your fortress. Index funds, real estate, bonds, dividend aristocrats. This bucket is protected growth, boring investments that compound quietly over decades. This is the money that makes you wealthy and keeps you wealthy. It's diversified, it's stable, and you never ever touch it for speculative bets. The psychology here is brilliant. When you separate these buckets, losses in your risk account don't trigger emotional panic about your financial security. You took a swing on a crypto project and it crashed? Whatever. That was risk capital. Your retirement account is still growing at 8% annually. Your emotions stay calm because your security is never threatened. Here's the allocation. Wealthy investors put 10 to 20% of their total portfolio into risk capital. 80 to 90% goes into long-term wealth preservation. Some ultra-aggressive investors might push risk capital to 30%, but that's rare. The key is the majority of wealth is always protected, while a meaningful chunk gets deployed on moonshots. High net worth individuals with over $5 million in assets allocate differently than people with under $5 million. Below $5 million, 62% goes to public equities with lower exposure to alternatives. Between 5 and 25 million, greater allocation to private equity and venture capital. Above 25 million, 38% of portfolios go into private businesses and direct investments. As wealth grows, risk capital opportunities expand. Let me give you real numbers. Someone with $1 million might put $100,000 into risk capital and $900,000 into long-term investments. That $100,000 can chase startups, crypto, individual stocks, whatever. The $900,000 sits in index funds and real estate generating steady returns. Over 10 years, even if the risk bucket completely fails, the long-term bucket still compounds to over $2 million at historical market returns. The permission this creates is massive. Fear of taking calculated risks evaporates when you know your downside is contained. Analysis paralysis from protecting every dollar disappears because you've already decided which dollars can be risked. You stop checking your crypto portfolio every hour because it's in the risk bucket where volatility is expected and accepted. Compare this to how most people invest. Everything in one big pot. Stock market drops? Panic. Crypto crashes? Panic. Startup fails? Panic. Because there's no separation between risk money and security money. Every loss feels like it threatens retirement. Every dip triggers emotional selling. The two-bucket system eliminates this completely. Here's what money solves in this framework. It solves the fear of missing out while simultaneously solving the fear of losing everything. You get upside exposure to explosive opportunities without downside risk to your core wealth. That's asymmetric. That's smart. That's how billionaires think. Rich people understand something crucial. Wealth preservation and wealth creation require different strategies. You don't preserve wealth by taking huge risks. And you don't create generational wealth by playing it safe. The two-bucket system lets you do both simultaneously. Protect the majority. Swing big with the minority. Most people are stuck in the middle, doing neither effectively. Not enough risk to capture life-changing upside. Not enough safety to sleep well at night. The two-bucket approach forces clarity. This money is for taking shots. This money is for compounding safely. No confusion. No emotional decisions. If this just changed how you think about allocating your money, smash that subscribe button right now. Next week, I'm breaking down exactly which investments go in which bucket and how to rebalance when things change. You won't want to miss it. Subscribe now, and let's build real wealth together. Let's go.